Hello everybody and welcome to another edition of Mandates with Guitar Greats, and today we have a returning guest. You obviously have no idea who this is. You can't see him at the moment and the title totally didn't give it away. A long-time friend of mine, and we are here to talk about his latest signature 7-string with Ibanez and this stunning, absolutely stunning custom shop Ibanez that has been recently sent to him that I've kind of been desperately trying to bully him into getting, and evidently I had a little bit of an influence and it's happened. So I would like to welcome my friend, Mr. Martin Miller. How's it going, buddy? There he is.
Here I am. How's it going, everybody? How you doing, man?
Yeah, I've got kind of three things to talk about with you today, and we might as well start on that first one. How am I? Yeah,
All right.
I'm good. It's in the COVID world, in the pandemic world. How's a worldwide pandemic been treating you as a musician?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough from a financial perspective. Let's not kid ourselves.
Yeah.
No tours, no gigs. I used to have this kind of annual thing where I would do a 2-month, 3-month tour per year and have like enough income for the months to come.
Yep.
And live off of that a little bit. And that is obviously not happening for over a year now. So yeah, my income has dropped significantly, but I'm getting by. I'm finding other ways to work around it. And I'm, from a personal perspective, a guy like me who has no life anyway,
A guitarist.
nothing. From a personal perspective, not much has changed.
Yeah. Well, I actually thought I'd be exactly the same. Well, I don't really go many places. I don't do many things. But it hit me
Yeah.
much harder than I thought it would from a mental perspective. Just not being
Yeah.
able to see people whenever I want or go somewhere whenever I want is I don't know what your kind of pandemic restrictions have been like in Germany, but it's
Yeah.
bizarre in Scotland. Definitely there's some bizarre restrictions in place.
Well, we've been on lockdown for 6 months now, essentially.
We over here we are, I think at the end of May we are allowed to meet up with people from 4 different households. I
Oh,
think
wow.
yeah, meet up with people from 4 different households. Finally, it's illegal up and currently. But we're also opening cinemas and bingo halls on that same day, so I can meet
Thank
up
God.
meet up with 4 of my friends in their house, or I can go to a cinema hall with families from, I don't know, 100 different houses. Where's the logic? Who knows? I should just stick to the music side of things. So yeah, definitely been an interesting one. Of course, I imagine your Jam Track Central products have been doing okay through the
They've
pandemic.
been sustaining me. Yeah.
Keeping you alive.
Luckily, the Gem Track Central has been ongoing, and my Patreon campaign has been sustaining me. Although that money doesn't go towards anything other than the session band and types of things.
Yeah, of course. I mean, session band is probably worth mentioning because you have definitely still been putting session band videos up, and obviously they will be dated because people in the videos are wearing masks. So yeah, what have you released with the session band just recently?
So we've, ever since the pandemic started, we've had one gathering of the session band,
Right.
which is kind of little. We did have the whole session with Mark. So people call each video a session, and that's kind of not what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It would be a logistic and financial nightmare to be meeting to shoot one video.
Yeah.
So we get together twice a year and shoot 5 to 8 videos.
Right.
And the session we had before the pandemic hit was with Mark Lettieri, and that was literally 2 weeks before they shut us down.
Right.
Before the whole world went apeshit crazy. So that was lucky. So that was a completely unrestricted, full-on session band experience. And then we had one session it was planned to be in September, but it happened in October. And what happened is in September, everything was fine in Germany. We thought we were over it, honestly. Sure. And Marius has a bike accident, our keyboard player, and injures his hands. We have to move the whole thing, like literally one day before we were going to meet. He injures his hands. We move everything back a month, and Germany goes back to bonkers. And so we had some of us are wearing in the masks in the video for that reason, because at the time the situation was kind of uncertain, and we were lucky enough that was right before they locked us down altogether. So we got one session in, and whenever we wear masks in those videos, that's from that session in October with Kirk Fletcher.
I remember when you started doing these, and you had the idea that they were going to be popular, but I think that nobody had the inclination that they'd be as big as they have turned out to be. They are a phenomenon, like millions of views. It's just astonishing.
Yeah, 70 million views now or something like
Yeah.
that. Beyond my wildest imagination. It
Yeah.
started out as an innocent little
Yeah.
fun project. Now we have an audience with an expectation for
Yeah.
regular content and such.
And the best way, of course, to support that regular content is on Martin's Patreon, link in the description. Yeah.
Absolutely, because I did pay all these things out of my own pocket in the beginning just to get them off the ground, and they're still not making us any money.
Sure.
Because we cannot monetize them.
Yeah.
Because they're covers.
Sure.
And so we need Patreon to cover the expenses.
Yeah.
And the expenses have risen because at the beginning I didn't even pay our audio engineer a dime.
Yeah.
And now I'm paying our audio engineer.
Yep.
And I'm paying hotels for everybody. I'm paying transport for everybody. And I'm paying food for everybody. And I'm paying to fly the guests over.
Yep.
And such. And it's just seriously, I'm not making any money with it.
Sure.
And even if I were, I mean, I'm putting in each of those videos, I'm putting a solid 20 hours mixing, 20 hours editing.
Yeah.
So if I were to make money, it wouldn't even be minimum wage for me compared to the time I put into making those things happen.
Yeah, people just totally underestimate the level of work that goes into filming something like
bizarre.
that.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah,
it's nuts. And I've become really efficient at it, I think. I know exactly what I'm doing. Like it's one of even the small things you know, like you have these multi-track recordings. How do you get them into your project in an ordered fashion, the quickest way possible? And I found ways, like if you search in the Microsoft Explorer for all files that end on XYZ, and then you order them by size, and then you can put them in the project all at once, and it's that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Just become really efficient at it.
Yeah, the video editing side of things, just the complexity of the project is just things that people cannot really fathom until they try and do it. And especially as you're doing a lot of that, if not most of that, on your own. I tried to do the same thing with Melissa's band, tried to help her out doing those things, and she had a decent sized crew of professionals involved, and your stuff was absolutely the measuring stick. I was showing her, this is what you're aiming for, and when she was hiring her film crew, I was like, this is what you are going for. It needs to be of this quality, and it was just near impossible to get that even close to that level of quality. So people, I think it's easy to underestimate when you watch a big budget film versus a low budget film, the additional levels of experience and expertise that go into that. So
it's so funny because at the beginning it just took us days to even get to the point where we start recording.
Yeah.
Like, you just stand there with your guitar plugged in, and it's like, what is actually happening right now? Why are we not playing? And of course, because our crew pretty much consists of the same people always.
Yeah.
They gathered a lot of experience. It's much quicker and more streamlined now. But in the beginning of this whole project, I kept sending out these humongous emails trying to micromanage what everybody was supposed to be doing. Now I'm not doing that at all anymore. I just write everybody an iMessage or a WhatsApp message. Said, we're doing 27th October till 29th October. Show up. You're in this hotel.
Yeah.
And then everybody knows what they're doing.
That's the dream. Being efficient. Who knows how different things are going to be when the world.
And
goes
we're almost independent with our gear now. We're still
Yeah.
lending some of the gear, but for example, I bit the apple and I bought a really expensive camera because I was paying 600 euros for it every time we filmed.
Yeah.
And so I thought to myself, well, if I'm going to be doing that, I might as well buy it, and in 3 years, I own it.
Yeah, it's a solid investment. It really is.
Yeah, it's an investment. Yeah, and the same with the mixing board. We now own the mixing board that we record with. And
and of course, one more time,
just
Patreon is the way to support that. So go and check Martin out. Go and check him out.
Link in the
Patreon.
description.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at plugging, right? It's like I'm an expert at it because I also probably would have gone out of business during the pandemic if I couldn't, constantly plug. So thank you everybody for all of your support. One other thing, just on the session band note, you filmed with Kirk, and I know that because we had been talking about potential guests that you could get in because you just simply couldn't get anyone from the States, right? So I imagine that.
Luckily, I spoke to Kirk for a while now. I always wanted to get him over.
Yeah.
For a while now, that seemed like the perfect opportunity.
Yeah.
Here's a guy who's available to us.
Yeah.
I mean, that's obviously not the reason we chose him. I've been talking to Kirk for 2 years prior to this.
Yeah.
about getting him over. But it seemed like the perfect opportunity.
Yep.
This is because he lives in Switzerland. Obviously, this is a manageable thing to pull off.
Yeah.
So we can have a world-class blues player that we don't have to fly in from overseas.
Yeah, that's a big help. And of course I'm not going to expect you to name names, but do you have a list of session guys, guests upcoming planned? I don't want any
I mean,
names.
I
But,
can
I
tell
do
you,
want
I can
names.
tell you, there were some AAA names,
Yeah.
close to confirmed.
Sure.
Before you know what happened.
Yeah. I mean, I know who some of the names were, so.
Yeah, but there were some big names that we even had sponsors for.
Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't happen, unfortunately.
Well, fingers crossed that gets sorted out, because great opportunities there. And I definitely think that it's going to be. I always thought that when you were making these session band videos that they were going to be fun and people would watch them because they're fun, but your YouTube channel would still be about educational content. And of course you are uploading some top quality educational content because you're a great player, great teacher. But man, these videos, people just absolutely love seeing you play in this setting.
It's kind of funny because now when I upload instructional videos, because there's a percentage of people that subscribe to my channel only for the covers, like I'm a living jukebox or something, they unsubscribe as soon as here's a free video for you with free transcriptions. Unsubscribe.
Yeah.
Burn him at the stake.
People are just impossible. Like what can we?
No, it's fine. I get it. I mean, get it. You want to keep your YouTube inbox clean. I get it. But man, sometimes I just want to do something that my heart desires, and there will come a time when I release a new record, and I'll be spamming about my new record. So I will lose some subscribers there, and others will stay because they appreciate me enough to where they're interested in other things I have to offer.
I've always said the same thing. I'm not really the guy to come to for advice. My channel's got 40,000 subscribers almost, and it's taken me half a decade to get there. So, not gone at the rate that I would ideally like it to, but I have up and coming YouTubers asking for advice like, what content do people want me to make? Like, how do I find out what people want me to make? And I always say the same thing, which is don't go that route. I mean, sure you could. You'll be successful if you make the things that people want to watch, but you'll hate yourself for it. Making videos will be hard. Find the videos that you want to make. Just make the stuff that you want to make, and then find the people that want to watch the stuff that you want to make.
But I would even argue that it's probably not successful to be making videos that people want, because people don't know what they want.
Yeah.
The thing is, look at Nintendo.
Yeah.
Look at the was anybody asking for the Switch?
Sure.
No, and it was the fastest selling console ever.
Yeah.
So in the same way, was anybody asking for an 80s medley? No, and that's our most successful video ever. Yeah. So you got to give people what they didn't even know they wanted.
You've got to take risks. Did people ever ask for me to transcribe stuff live on YouTube? No, but I made it anyway. Did they care? No, they did not.
But one time that you might be doing the transcription video that then blows up.
Yeah, and just illustrating the point, like I'm still making those videos because that's the content that I want to make. And don't get me wrong, I've definitely got a small audience fostered around, the content that I'm making, and they like that. So I'm not too fussed if you make a session band video and then a lesson video and people don't want to watch it. Like, you'll find the people that do.
Of course, and it's totally fine either way. But I just think you're taking the responsibility away from yourself if you let people decide what they want to see, because you're not paying an artist, or in this case, subscribing to an artist, for just a service, but you're subscribing to them for their vision. And it's not the consumer's duty to have that vision.
Sure.
Nobody was asking for the Martin Miller session band, and then until it happened, and then they kept asking for more.
Sure.
So, who knew? If I had asked, do you want me to do band videos with my band, or do you want me to make gear reviews? Most people would have probably asked for the safest option.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's
because that they already know. They have an expectation towards what that is.
Yeah.
So yeah, you really got to find your own thing that you're good at. And for me, the session band was kind of an outlet in many ways, because I do enjoy mixing. I do enjoy playing with a band more than I enjoy playing at home by myself.
Yeah.
And I wanted to learn to sing. So there's a project where I can use all of my talents, or lacks of talent, and put them together to one product.
I like
as opposed to just being the guitar player. Not that there's anything wrong with just being a guitar player, but I kind of diversified my fields of action a little bit.
I like that you admit to wanting to learn to sing, and I know you put a lot of time into learning to sing. Of course, everybody that watches my channel knows that I'm learning piano. I hear that you're also taking up the piano. What's this all about?
Big time. Yeah, I'm putting in 2 hours a day.
Yeah, it's fun, isn't it?
That's great. Humbling. I like it.
Yeah.
But it's not new to me.
Sure.
The fact that it's humbling, because I've been learning to sing for the past couple of years,
Sure.
so I know a thing about humbling or two.
Yeah, yeah. Like for me, I'm learning piano, of course, because I want to learn piano. But I'm also sharing that I want to learn piano because there's that hope that it will inspire other people, not necessarily to learn piano, but to go, oh, okay, it doesn't matter if you're, doing all right in your career in music and your career in music. It's okay to pick something up and be passionate about it. And if I inspire one person to go and pick up that thing that they've always wanted to learn to do, then great. So
I've seen a lot of people in our circle starting to sing after I started singing. So
yeah,
that is cool. That is cool to see. It's great. It's an inspiring thing to be able to do.
Yep.
And it changed my career completely.
Sure.
Because the session band wouldn't exist if I weren't a singer.
Yeah.
Not in the way that we know it.
Yeah.
In the same way with the piano, I kind of have a foot in the door for some possible compositional gigs, and for me, the piano is just a gateway towards better compositional skills.
Yeah,
and also, of course, you starting out around the same time is also motivation for me. Oh, he's posting a video. Oh, he's going for it.
Yeah,
I better get my act together.
Yeah, no, there is it depends on the type of person, right? We obviously both grew up listening to and heavily influenced by a lot of technical shredders, and with that comes that air of competition. And I think surrounding yourself, certainly talking about websites like the Petrucci Forum, surrounding yourself by a bunch of other young guys this kind of same age as you that are all trying to push their technical boundaries, that's good for your own personal development. Unless you take it too far, you can be beaten down.
There
by
is
it
a
or
point
be
where it
inspired
becomes
by
a detriment.
Yeah.
You develop some inhibitions and some quirks that are just not pleasant on a human level.
Yeah.
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 And also they make your music worse. I think a big part of the reason my audience grew so much in the past few years is because I really let go of the sense of competition. And focused so much on doing my own thing that I really like.
Yeah.
It's like you've heard some of my record, I think.
The upcoming
bits
one.
and pieces in there.
Yeah.
And there's not a ton of shred guitar playing on there because I don't think I need to be doing that.
Yeah.
Why? Do I really think the music would benefit from it? Then I'm sure as hell going to do it.
Yeah.
But unless that's the case, I'm not doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
I'm also not partaking in the Instagram race. I'm never posting any guitar clips. I post some clips that were recorded live with my band, that are unpolished, and I put them up there. But I'm not trying to crunch my teeth and put everything I could do into 15 seconds of highly curated playing. That's just not where I'm at.
Sure.
I just want to write good music.
Yeah, and it goes back to what we were saying about make the content that you want to make, because there is an audience for it. There are people that are after the things that you do. There are people that are after the things I do. I call them purists, people that are old-fashioned people, if you like. We don't appeal to the kids, unfortunately, and the kids that we do.
And there's a lot of purists out there.
Yeah,
there's a lot of old-fashioned people out there.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right, and I like those people. Those people are the best. They're good people.
I like people who like me.
Yeah, absolutely. Because if I spent my time spending any effort on the people that don't like me, I'd be really, really busy. There's a lot of them. So yeah, keep at it, guys. I'm still here. So speaking of influence, let's talk about that guitar, because let's do it this way. I got this a while ago, and it's got these wobbly frets on it.
Nice. And that's a longer scale?
No, this is just standard scale.
Oh, it looks so long.
It does look long, doesn't it? And the Evertune bridge, and I'm a big lover of the Evertune bridge.
Oh yeah, I love it.
And then this was my opportunity to get the True Temperament fret, so I just thought I'd do it, and I put up a bunch of videos, and you and me had talked about the Evertune bridge a little bit, and we talked about the True Temperament frets. And then you said to me, "Hey, man, Ibanez, the custom shop, are going to make me a custom shop guitar. Should I do it?" Like,
Yeah,
damn right you
I
should
went
do
all
it.
in. Went all in.
So tell us all about it.
Yeah, I got the opportunity to get one of the rare spots for having a custom guitar made, and I essentially wanted. I didn't want to change anything about the sound of my guitar, so I went with I basically had myself built an MM1
Yep.
with identical spec, just trying out a different color and trying out the Evertune bridge and the True Temperament frets. I've been using the Evertune bridge on the 80s medley. I had an RGD there, an extended scale
Yep.
guitar that had the True Temperament bridge in Evertune bridge in it. And the reason for that was that is 27 minutes recorded in one take. And the cool thing is it'll be as in tune on minute 1 than it is in minute 27 without having to retune, especially since I'm singing as well.
Sure.
So there's never really any downtime for me to be retuning the guitar in the middle of the whole thing. So I decided to go with the Evertune bridge on that one. It worked out great. All the rhythm parts sound so bang on. And I use 9s on it, and I can just slam the low strings like.
And it's
that's amazing.
Yeah.
I can still have the squishy feel of the low gauge string, but I can slam the strings for that beautiful, heavy, overtony rhythm sound.
No, totally. I thought the Evertune was fantastic, and then I got it put on my 8-string Ibanez and came home with that thing, tuned it down to E, and smashed the living shit out of that low string with my tuner on, and it just didn't falter. It didn't go sharp at all. I'm like, this is unbelievable. There's so much potential here.
I have it set so it wobbles the weeniest bit.
Yeah.
Because actually, it sounds like, for example, when I got the first Evertune guitar, I went through some of my album parts and decided to re-record them. There were some, for example, some finishing chords.
Yeah.
That didn't sound as good when the note was completely still.
Yeah.
So I set it up for a little bit of extra wiggle.
Sure. Yeah, and I think you and I obviously can talk about the Evertune in that level of detail. I understand exactly what you mean because I understand the bridge. And my problem with the Evertune, and I'm sure you totally agree because I know you had a similar experience, is, I mean, I put a ton of research into it before it got here, before I got my first one. So when it did show up, I knew exactly how it worked. But man, in all the groups I'm in, you see all these people that are coming around to the idea of an Evertune, and then inevitably a week after getting it, they go to put new strings on it, and they have to post a photo saying, "Guys, help me out! Keep snapping strings on my Evertune." And it's such a great piece of kit, but unfortunately, it confuses people, doesn't it?
I think it's hard to sell.
Yeah,
it's hard to sell for a number of reasons. First of all, somehow everybody has already made up their mind about it before they even know what it is. The other reason is it's not very widely available to try. And the third reason is if it is available to try, it's mostly in absolutely piss poor condition.
Yeah.
And that was my first experience with it when a friend of mine came over 6 years ago with an Evertune bridge, and it wasn't perfectly set up. And I was like, what the hell, this I can bend on this, I get it, but it changes the feel.
Yeah.
And that was because the tuners weren't in the right position.
Yeah.
And so I had a negative prejudice. Is it even in prejudice? Because I did try it out and it didn't work as advertised. But that was because whoever was operating it didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah. No.
And it's not that hard to learn to use it, but you need to take those 15, 20 minutes and you need to experiment a little bit with it. And once you got it, man, it's amazing.
Yeah. No, I think it's exactly the same as like a Floyd Rose. And I remember being 15 and getting my first Floyd Rose and being like, I hate this. I don't understand this at all. And that wasn't the Floyd Rose's problem.
It's the same thing.
It was my problem. I had to learn about it, how it works before I sat down with it. And I think if you do that with the Evertune, you will be impressed by it because it's an impressive piece of engineering. It genuinely is a very impressive piece of engineering. But
I started, my students will know this, but I started playing the gray RGD in all my lessons. And that was just because whenever I had my first lesson in the morning, I just grabbed that guitar and know it's in tune.
Yeah.
Don't have to bother with it.
Yep.
It makes me want to play guitar more.
Yeah.
Because whatever chord you play always sounds good.
Yeah.
No matter how hard you slap it, and no matter what time of day it is or what weather it is, it's gonna sound in tune and beautiful.
Yeah.
And there's this kind of thing with us guitar players. I guess we attach a lot of our self-worth to how good we sound. And you take a guitar and that is not perfectly in tune, you play an E chord and you think, I sound like a beginner.
Yeah, no, totally.
And it doesn't happen with an Evertune.
Yeah, no.
And I would even go as far as saying, look, if you have a great guitar like my MM1, MM7, they don't necessarily need an Evertune bridge because they stay in tune that good.
Sure.
But you have a little bit of a cheaper make. There's some cheaper guitars that have Evertunes on it, and I can see those guitars being massively better than the counterparts in their price range.
Yes. Yeah.
Because you're gonna combat one of the biggest issues that cheap guitars have.
Yeah.
With that.
Yeah, no, that's a really fair point. I just want more people to see this video and see us gushing about the Evertune, a similar one with Andy James, because I think it's the type of thing that you need to be sold on, not sold on, but you need to be extremely open-minded to the concept before you give it a try, because the chances are your first experience with an Evertune will be like mine, which was in a guitar shop and it wasn't set up correctly. But I knew that it wasn't set up correctly. I didn't play it and go, this isn't very good. I played it and went, okay, this needs to be tweaked, because I'd looked into the system before I played it. And I said to the guy in the shop, can you get the key for it so I can get it sorted, get it set up and in tune, so I can get a feel for what it's like. And he said, oh no, you don't need that. You can just tune it at the tuners if you tune it far enough.
Ugh.
And I'm like, why are you selling this thing if you clearly don't know how it works? That's it's almost like you want authorized Evertune dealers.
Even if you went away from that saying, well, this system sucks, it's not yours to keep that thing set up and ready to go for a customer, for a potential customer.
Yeah.
So you would be fair in thinking that the system sucks.
Yeah.
If whoever is offering it to you doesn't know how to use it.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. And well, even worse than that, if you go into a shop and they have an Evertune guitar and you pick it up, and because the people in the shop have no idea how this thing works and they've just played around with it and played around with it and played around with it and they've knocked it out of tune, and then you pick it up and you go, oh, one of those Evertunes, it's always in tune, and you strum an E chord and it's clearly not in tune. Like, that's it. We hang it up and then never play it again. That would be a shame.
With that said, is the Evertune the only bridge I'd ever want to play? And the answer is a big resounding no.
That's totally fair.
Because I do like, there's a reason I didn't go for an Evertune on this one.
Yeah.
Because I like my tremolos.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a big. I use the tremolo bridge in almost every song I ever wrote.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
There's something about it about the washy sounding chords and about the Jeff Beck / Lou Cather type phrasing that I really enjoy.
Yeah.
But if I'm gonna have a fixed bridge, there's no reason it shouldn't be an Evertune.
I wouldn't necessarily go that far with it. Like, I like my Evertune for certain things. It's useful for certain things, but still, my main guitar is always going to be a Telecaster because I like tellies. The new Ibanez
and you like
AZSs,
it because of their quirks.
I like the simplicity of what a Telecaster is.
Yeah.
I love the complexity of what my true Temperament Evertune guitar is, but I also love the simplicity of what a Telecaster is. And I'll go to them for those things. If I want the simplicity, I'm going to pick up my Telecaster, knowing that it won't be in tune. It definitely won't be in tune when I pick it up, but of course it won't. It's a Telecaster. Just get on with it, play it.
Yeah.
So how about
so for my number one guitar will, because people are going to quote me for whatever I say now, but as of April 2021, my main guitar will have a Goto style tremolo.
Yep.
But for whenever I do not need the Goto style tremolo, I'll use an Evertune.
Yeah. No, that's totally fair. I'll put a pressure spot on you before I start asking about the TT frets. What's the likelihood of of a Martin Miller with an Evertune on it then? As in available to the public?
I would say that's low.
Yeah.
Because of reasons mentioned.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, I do want to have, a tremolo in my life.
Sure.
So if I may start dreaming, one day I might have two signature guitars out there, and one might have an Evertune bridge, and one might have a Goto tremolo. Who knows? This is just as of now, I'm very comfortable with my signature guitars
Sure.
having the Goto and my custom guitar having
Yeah.
the Evertune.
I hadn't.
Honestly, it'll be down to consumer response. Because it is not easy to get the Evertune on there.
Yeah.
First of all, you need to change things around quite a bit in the factory side of things, but also on the supplier side of things, because the supply on these in these freaking Corona times is low.
Yeah.
As far as I know. It's all about demand.
Sure.
If there's a demand for it, it might happen.
So
guys,
it's
up to you.
Get demanding. It's
your call.
When I asked the question, actually, I initially kind of wanted to walk it back in my mind. If I had the opportunity to have a guitar released right now with my name on it, available in every single shop, and it had an Evertune in it, I'd pass on that opportunity. And the reason is for what we mentioned previously. I hate the thought of having a signature guitar that's out there with an Evertune in there, sitting in a shop, being set up terribly because the guitar shop had no idea what they were doing with it. So maybe not the best idea. How about the True Temperament frets, though?
We'll see. Well, those I tried first in 2013 on a Strandberg at NAMM. I really fell in love with how triads and inversions sounded like, specifically major triads through distortion.
Yeah,
that's a sound that I found very attractive, and it's another one of those products that seems to be riddled with prejudice, because for some reason everybody thinks, oh, it might sound too perfect. What is that anyway? Don't you want your guitars to sound in tune?
Yeah.
Don't you want your singers to sing in tune? Don't you want your drummers to play in time? What is that obsession with it sounding too perfect? No, it sounds fantastic.
Yeah, yeah, and
it's also great.
It's also no more in tune than a piano. It's that
and it'll still not be perfectly in tune, because you'll still push down the frets at various pressures. It just gets you closer to in tune.
Well, yeah, if we're talking strictly about the TT frets, but factor an Evertune in, and you're going to get that same level of perfection, right?
Well, I haven't checked it with a tuner, I guess, but the pressure of your hand will still change the pitch.
And not if you have your Evertune set in the do not bend mode, you know?
Well, yes, that's true, but I never have it there.
Sure. Okay.
I never have it in the do not bend mode. I think the only time I would ever do that is if I were to have a really low tuned part where you just chug away on a low string endlessly. Other than that, I always have it on the exact edge where you can start, where the tiniest change of motion or pressure changes the pitch, with the exception of the low E string, which I take back into the stable zone just a little more.
Yeah. I like you talking about it like this because it gives people that idea of not how complex the system is, but how much variation there is for you as the user. You set it how you want it set.
I think. Well, I honestly think the 80s medley, those are the tightest. So we don't, we keep the live takes. We don't, that it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
And those are, in my opinion, the most studio ready rhythm guitars I've ever recorded in one of those medleys.
Yeah.
Because it has that super in tune sound all the way through.
Sure. Yeah.
There's some extra polish to the sound.
Yeah. And you've also, on that particular one, those are the newer TT frets, right? Those are the stainless steel ones, right?
Yes. And I think this might be possibly one of the first guitars ever to have a roasted maple S-Tech neck with stainless steel True Temperaments.
Nice.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So you basically have a guitar where the neck never warps.
Yeah.
You have a guitar where every fret is in tune, and you have a guitar that never goes out of tune.
I mean, it's easy for you to say.
Yes. Honestly, this is the freaking weapon for the studio.
Yeah, you have that. No one else has that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
this was my wet guitar dream that I made come true thanks to the great people at Ibanez. And this is not an LA custom shop, by the way. This is a Japan custom.
Yeah.
This was built in the Fujigen factory by the same guy who built Steve Vai's guitars, etc.
So fucking cool.
Thanks for that. Thanks for that, guys. You're the best.
Yeah.
I love you.
Yeah, I'm going to say the exact same thing that I said back on our first Mandates video, which is it's such a nice feeling, an incredible feeling to see your friends getting all the recognition, success, and accolade that they deserve. And yeah, again, if going back 10 years, you and me, it was 10 years ago last week, right? You and me wandering around in Germany, eating
That's when we first met.
hot sausages. Um, the,
Oh my god.
yeah,
Oh my god. Yes.
flashbacks.
There's
Yeah,
that picture of me somewhere with me with a burned stomach from the spiciest sausage in town, holding an ice cream and a bottle of beer.
yeah. I mean, now you said that, obviously I've had to dig the photo out to put into the video.
Oh
So,
yes, you got it.
yeah, but to look back at that, and back then we would. Well, we didn't actually do it, but sure, we would all dream about the idea of having the kinds of things that you're getting, the kind of the treatment that you get from a company as prestigious as Ibanez. No pun intended, or pun intended. So yeah, it's good. Why don't we use that as a way just to quickly talk about your MM7 then,
Yes, let's do it.
because that is something that people actually can buy.
Yes. Let me just make a quick trade here. By the way, how cool is this? Fire and ice.
Nice.
Ah, love it. There it goes. There's the beautiful MM7.
Yeah. So identical. Well, not identical because it has an extra string, but I would assume identical in terms of spec as the 6-string version, right?
That is the whole concept behind it. That is the whole concept behind the AZ 7-string line is to have that's how I see the concept. We would have to ask the people at Ibanez, but for me, the whole selling point is that it is a 7-string without feeling like a 7-string.
Right.
It's the transition between the 6 and the 7 is just so seamless because you have the same distance between the strings. You have essentially a neck that feels identical to the 6-string, plus a little bit of extra mass on it.
Sure.
Same sound, same tremolo, same switching options. It's the same everything plus an extra string, which sounds like it would be an easy thing to do, but I imagine there has to be a lot of consideration going into the design.
Yeah.
Pull that off.
This is why
they did it with flying colors.
I'm going to throw some shade here because that's what I do, right? This is why I always recommend that if you are out there on the market looking for guitars, try and go for a guitar made by a guitar company that has a experience in building guitars. You know what I mean? I would always prefer to go for a guitar that is made by a company that has a long history of making guitars rather than buying a guitar from somebody who has a long history of playing guitars. People who play guitars don't know how to build guitars. Ibanez know how to build guitars.
They do.
I like Ibanez. I'm a big fan. So that's the MM7, which is, as I say, available for purchase if anyone wants to go and check one out.
I'm not sure if it's being shipped yet. I've seen a few in the wild, I think, but yeah, it's you know how it is like these days. It might take an extra month to get to you, but yeah, I spoke with somebody the other day, and the sales have been going really great so far. But yeah, it might take a little longer to acquire it at this point, which, to be honest, makes it even more desirable.
Don't talk to me about desirable guitars, right? I'm still both angry and flabbergasted that I couldn't get my hands on a Brent Mason Telecaster.
I saw that. I followed that whole plot.
Full retail price, paid, not a problem. Cool, get me my guitar. Months and months and months. Yeah, when's it going to be here? We have no idea. Absolutely no idea. Okay, cool. Right. I'll just walk away from this then. I've only got
like you're
hundreds of thousands of views teaching.
You're begging somebody to take your money, and they just won't take it, huh?
But that's the thing. They'd already taken it.
Yeah, but now they don't have it anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So they can give me my money back. So yeah, I would hope that over the coming months, the world is going to go back to normal, and people will be able to see some more session band videos when you eventually go back to recording. We'll get to see the True Temperament Evertune.
Oh, by the way, we are going back to the studio no matter what.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to be doing fast tests and get everybody in the studio. There will be, I promise, there will be no shortage of footage.
Good.
Yeah, I'll make sure. I'll make sure with every inch of my life that we'll get back together soon and provide you more stuff, because I think the world needs that kind of relief. And honestly, and I need to see those people in a room again and have this experience of creating together. That's what keeps me alive.
Yeah, there's something magic about playing a chord and that chord being backed up by a kick drum. Magic feeling.
Yeah, and there's something I think there's something magical about 14 people getting together and deciding to take 3 days out of their lives for a vanity project
That will get
just
millions
to create
of views.
something that people, huh?
That will get millions of views.
Yeah, but there's some exchange of energy happening there,
Yeah.
and I'm not a spiritual person by any means, but there is just something there that us 14 people get together, do some stuff, and then something happens in the world.
Yeah. That is a very
That's so cool. That idea is still mind blowing to me.
yeah. Well, that's music in general, right? I think that's
Yeah.
the reason anybody watching this now that still makes music. That's the reason you do it, right? Just that feeling of impacting people, doing something that leaves a mark, something that will be around longer than we will be. And
It's also like when you play gigs. One of my favorite parts about playing gigs is how different people's energy is before and after the gig.
yeah,
It's just there's something after especially when the show went really well.
Yeah.
You have a good closing song or something, a really impactful closing song. There's just something in the air.
Yeah.
That is magic.
it's that adrenaline
Freaking music.
release, mate. That's what that is.
Huh?
It's that adrenaline release.
Yeah.
When something goes perfect, or you're playing a game and you're trying to do something that's really difficult and you've managed to do it. And those moments afterwards, walking off stage and going, "Oh, that went perfectly."
Yeah.
What a feeling. So again, fingers crossed we'll be able to go back to that soon.
Mhm.
Any closing messages for our wonderful viewers?
Take care, stay healthy.
And go and support Martin on Patreon.
And support us on Patreon, please.
Speaking of Patreon, I would just like to say a massive thank you to my wonderful supporters. Their names are scrolling on the screen right now. You guys are absolutely awesome. As I said earlier in this video, I wouldn't have been able to make ends meet through this strange pandemic situation without your love, kindness, generosity, and support. So thank you very much, guys. It really does make all the difference. If you would like to check me out, link is in the description. You can also check Martin out, link in the description. You can go buy one of my books. They're all there. Links are in the description. You can go buy one of Martin's products over at Jamtrack Central. Again, links in the description.
You should.
Yeah, you should. Good stuff. Martin's very good at what he does. So, yeah, go and support
And
him.
before I forget, I'm going to have a new product on JTC out very soon.
Are you able
an
to
eye out
tell
for
us
that.
more, or
Well, it's not what people were asking for, but it's what people didn't know they wanted.
I like that. I like that. That's your theme. That's
Yep.
good.
And I stay true to that philosophy with my JTC masterclasses as well.
Good. And also put it this way, or think of it this way. People watching this, they're 46 minutes into this video now. So we know realistically most people didn't get that. Most people didn't see you say that. So that's absolutely fine.
Yeah, for the hardcore fans, they deserve.
They absolutely deserve
deserve
it. So I don't really know how to end one of these anymore because it's been so long. So I'm just going to have to do it like the guitar solos. Martin, until next time.
Bye, fuckers.